We're joined today by Kimberlie Warren of Beacon Health System, who has her Ph.D. in healthcare administration, and she works with our associates on training and development. Welcome, Kimberlie. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks you, and thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So as you know, we are in the middle of the COVID pandemic storm. Many of us are feeling anxious. We're feeling nervous. We're feeling worried. So it's really important to find ways to stay calm, and that's what you're here to talk about. Tell us about the importance of finding our calm.
It's important because when we are in a heightened state, the hypervigilant state of fear and anxiety and just intensity, stress, it has a huge impact on not only our mind, but our body. We aren't always able to think clearly. Number one, so that's really huge, especially for those of us who are trying to work and maintain our frontline individuals, trying to maintain and to keep those of us who are sheltered in place safe. It's very important that they have the ability to tap into their logical brain as frequently as possible and be out of the emotional brain, because the brain is multiple parts to it and different things happen in different parts, and I don't want to get that deep. I don't think that's where you wanted me to go, but it's important to just be able to be calm enough to be able to make good decisions, to be able to take in information appropriately, to be able to also keep the nervous system such that it takes care of the organs, the essential organs, the heart, the lungs, the eyes, the ears, everything that we need to utilize in situations such as COVID-19, where the VUCA environment, the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity, and the ambiguity. It's huge that we are able to be able to allow ourselves the emotions of stress, but also not to stay in those emotions, to get out of that high intensity activity and energy in order that we can give I'm going to touch base on heart and lungs for just the primary organs. So with the heart and lungs, when we're in that intensity, high stress, high demand space, our body is preparing to either fight something or run. The hardwiring has stayed the same since caveman. When caveman had to fight for the food or fight for its family's protection or fight to take home dinner, that hardwiring is still the same. It's just that our stressors are different. But with that hardwiring comes the body preparing ourselves for the danger. And that includes increased heart rate, more rapid breathing, the muscles just getting ready to, again, fight or flight, and then taking away resources from other organs that aren't needed when we have to defend ourselves. Now, that's good in the moment, but over time, it taxes us. It taxes the body to the whole notion that even at the end of our chromosomes, right? Like the end of your shoelace, how that little piece is there to keep your shoelace from raveling. Well, at the end of our chromosomes, we have something that we can compare to that if we are in a stressful situation for too long, then we tend to wear away the end of those chromosomes. It makes us age faster. For our heart rate, if our heart rate is up consistently all the time or the majority of the time, imagine the wear and tear of that on your heart over time. It's going to beat your heart up. Your lungs, you're not oxygenating appropriately. So even at the cellular level, you're not oxygenating the cells. Your immune system gets impacted because you're not able to fight off, because your immune system is always preparing for danger. If you get hurt, wounded, your immune system's right there to take care of things. Well, it's just like the boy who cries wolf. He keeps crying wolf. The wolf never shows up. When the wolf does show up, nobody listens. Same thing with this. If you overuse your resources when you need them the most, they're not going to be there for you because you've overused them. You've worn them out.
So what you're saying is really you need to validate your feelings, validate what you're feeling, the stress, the anxiety, being worried, validate those emotions, and then you need to move on and find that calm within. How does finding that calm impact then, you mentioned some of the organs of the body, but how about your mind as well?
So and I'm gonna interject here with the word equanimity, right? And so the word equanimity essentially means a calmness of the mind, a mental calmness. When we calm our mind down, it also helps us to um, calm our other senses. So the nervous system is the hugest part in all of this, right? If the nervous system is jittered and wired too intently, it's not going to allow any of the body to do what it needs to do. When we can calm the nervous system, a deep breath. So when your baby's upset and your baby's crying, what do you tell your baby to do? You
Calm
say,
down.
calm down. And what do you tell them to do with their breathing? Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. Just stay calm. That equanimity or that calmness of the mental state also brings about the calmness for the rest of the body. So if I'm not thinking I'm all wired and scattered and fearful and anxious, then the body doesn't have to respond to that. So the body can calm itself down as well. And when we start to do that more frequently, intentionally, and commit to calming ourselves, we then form a new baseline. Many of us are just so wired, even before COVID-19 happened, right? Fast paced, in the game, very intense. Well, our stress baseline is like way up here. And that's what we're used to. And that's what the body's going to start looking for. When we start to calm ourselves mentally and our nervous system as well, what we do is we start to lower that stress baseline, and the body starts to understand that I don't have to be up here all the time. I can get down here and I can be more productive. I can be more effective. I can think more clearly. I can make better decisions. I can even have better interactions with people, right? So there's like this huge win-win all the way around with the calmness that we bring. And not only are we calming ourselves, if we're in distance with others, in proximity or sometimes in distance, our calm presence helps to calm others because we're energy related, right? We're energy beings. And if you and I were just in the same room, if you're a little bit stressed out and I walk in the room and say, hey, Heidi, how's it going? And you say, oh, I just see the look in your face. And I just said, I'm with you and I think positive things for you and love and care about you. Then your electrical system internally synchronizes with mine, which is going to calm you down. And sometimes we don't even have to talk to each other for that to happen. We can just simply be in the same room, but we have to be attuned to each other in order for that to happen.
And you mentioned being intentional. And I think that that's a big part of this. How can we, when we are in the middle of these feelings, how can we immediately get to that calm and intentionally feel that calm on demand, so to speak?
Yeah, so that whole on-demand thing happens in a couple of different ways, but it all boils down to one thing. Take a pause, take a nice deep breath, and allow the emotional brain to settle a bit. And when we focus our attention on something intentionally, like you said, so I use the HeartMath methodology, heart focus, heart breathing, and heart feeling. So what that means is the moment I put my focus on one thing, slow my breathing down. I don't have to do the, but it's just simply slow the breathing down and take in the oxygen and then focus my attention on something positive immediately. Slow the nervous system down, get the immune system and the nervous system synchronized in coherence, clear up my thinking. And I can even, if I activate care or gratitude for something or someone, that changes my neurochemistry and my biochemistry to a more positive, revitalizing circulation versus a cortisol stew that the more we get into intensity, the worse we feel, and the worse we feel, the more we produce cortisol, right? So we are our own walking pharmaceuticals, if I can put it that way. We can make or break our own system by what we think, how we slow our system down, and intentionally saying, I want out of this craziness to a calmness. So we have to get our thinking brain into the game enough to say, stop hijacking me, emotional brain, and let me just calm and center.
So what are like 3 ways, or what would 3 tips be? Say you're in the middle of a moment or you're between patients. What would be 3 steps to doing that? I mean, it would be, I'm guessing, separating yourself, maybe breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Again, the thinking positive thoughts. What's a way to find that calm in the middle of a storm?
If nothing else, nice deep belly breathing, oxygenated breathing, because that oxygenated breathing then will help the entire system to, when you take the deep breath, normally when we're in high intensity times, this is how we're breathing. We don't even know it. Short, shallow, and rapid. What are we doing? We're hypoventilating in a sense. So we're not oxygenating everything. So if there's only one thing we can do, then that one thing is take a pause. Well, that's 2. Take a pause and take a nice deep belly breath. It's not this kind of thing. It's when you inhale, your belly expands. When you exhale, your belly contracts. That's how you know you got your diaphragm involved. You know you're filling up your lungs to full capacity, and you know that you're oxygenating things very well. If that's the one thing to do, do that. If we can add 2 other steps to it, heart focus. Heart meaning the heart that's beating. Imagine that, and some people actually put their hands to their heart space. Imagine that you're breathing, or you're breathing through your heart, or that your heart is in love, working for you, or is offering you love, or whatever you could think about your heart. So heart focus, heart breathing, slow your breathing down, and heart feeling, appreciation, appreciating that you're there helping someone in the midst of the chaos, or appreciating very simply based on the time that we're in, that we're able to be here at this time in our evolution, because COVID-19 is pretty serious, right? So some type of appreciation, some type of gratitude. If you can pull in any of those 3 things in the moment, that's why we call it on demand, in the moment, then that will help to slow you down, get you breathing, and get you focused on something other than that emotional hijack.
We might be in the middle of this storm, but really when we look around us, we have a lot to be appreciative of too.
Absolutely. Yep.
So next time, Kimberlie, you're going to join me again here soon, and we're going to be talking about the mindset to go along with the calm. So thank you very much, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity.